Well, it's great to see Ableton keeping their promises. In December, they promised to release updates to Ableton Move every 6 to 8 weeks, and we just got another one with USB-C sampling as the main feature. So let's have a quick look at how it works and what other improvements they've added to Move with this new 1.3 update. And I will also make a quick beat by sampling a song from the USB-C. So 1.3 isn't a huge update, but this is part of Ableton's strategy. According to a post from one of their employees on Discord, this is the first of many planned updates for Move this year. We're aiming for new releases roughly every 6 to 8 weeks, and we will release improvements as soon as they are ready, rather than building them into 1 or 2 large updates per year. Which is nice for people who already own Move to get the new features as soon as possible, even if from a marketing standpoint, a bigger update generates more attention on social media or YouTube. As you probably know, there are very few phones left on the market that have headphone outputs, and portable beatmaking devices have to adapt to this. SP404 Mark II had it from the beginning, and now Move is also adding the ability to record audio directly from a USB-C port. Now, it's worth noting that Move already had the option to record audio to the phone from the USB-C port, which is great for making quick beat videos, but now it works in the opposite direction as well. So USB-C sampling is pretty straightforward if you have a phone or a tablet with a USB-C port, but much more inconvenient if you have an iOS device with a Lightning port. So I don't have an Android device to test it, but it should work the same way, I suppose. With an iPhone 15, which does have an USB-C port, you just connect your phone to Move's USB-C port with a USB-C to USB-C cable. Then you press sampling and click on the wheel to choose USB-C as a source. So now whatever you play on your phone should play through Move. And so you are ready to sample it. Now, I don't know why it's doing this, why the volume indicator is constantly showing up. Quite annoying. I don't know why this happens. Maybe it's an iOS issue. I have no idea. iOS devices with Lightning ports, like let's say the iPhone 14, or actually any iPhone between 7 and 14, they have the Lightning port, but no headphone jack. So the situation there is kind of not that convenient, like I said. So you might be thinking, oh, surely I can just connect it with a Lightning to USB-C cable and it will work. And in fact, it doesn't. What you need to do is use this thing. This is the USB to Lightning adapter from Apple, but then you also need to power it with your charger. So you will need the adapter that has the option to connect to a power adapter and not the one that has just the USB port. So you connect this to your iOS device, and then with a USB-C to a USB-A cable, you connect this to Move. And now you can sample from it. So you need 3 things. You need a charger and a cable, you need the adapter and a USB-A to USB-C cable. Not the most convenient setup. Now when you see this, you kind of understand why it was a good thing that Apple moved on from the Lightning connector. It's caused all sorts of inconveniences, especially if you use your iOS device for music. So let's just take a quick musical break and sample something from the iPad and make a beat on Move. Alright, so let's see what are the other new additions in 1.3. So now they've added the option to solo tracks. By holding Shift and Mute, and you press any of the track buttons, you can solo it. Now, another thing that was quite annoying was that the names of the presets and samples were cut off if they were too long, and now they just scroll so we can see the whole name of your sample or preset. A small addition, but not a bad one. And one thing I like is that with the 1.3 update, triggered one-shot samples and long release node phases now stop when playback stops and when clips are retriggered. This means that when you stop playback, if you have a longer sample, it will cut it right off instead of the sample continuing to play, which was super annoying. You know, it stops immediately, much nicer and cleaner. And there are other small improvements. I will put a link to the release notes on Ableton's website down in the video description, so check them out for the full details and let me know what you think about this update.